Are you headed to Newport, Rhode Island on your next cruise? Curious about the mansions here at Newport? We could take you on a tour here at Breakers, as well as show you around the downtown Newport area. And we were asleep when we came in this morning, so just so that you know, this is an early tender port. We are officially here at 7 a.m. and we are all aboard by 4. Okay, we are happy to say that we are now officially in Newport, Rhode Island. We are not off the shore of Newport, Rhode Island. We have just arrived here at Goat Island on the Enchanted Princess tender boats. A word about tendering before we go too much further. They tell you to have your entire party ready to go because they call the numbers rather quickly. It doesn't take as long as I thought it would take. So we actually missed our tender call and had to be put on another shuttle. So they were kind in accommodating us. The process took about 20-ish minutes. That is with loading, sitting there waiting for people to come on, and the actual slow transfer over from the ship to the dockside here. Okay, so we took a left once we came off of the tenders there and we got to the top of the dock. We took a left. We're headed across here to the Marriott. We are headed over to the Newport Transportation Center. That's where you get the free bus to takes you all up and down Bellevue Avenue. This is the bus terminal, and this is where you would pick up your trolley tours. Had you booked those in advance, we did not book those in advance. If you want to do your own thing, as soon as you confirm you're coming to Newport, book this. It booked up really fast. And the public buses are over here. This technically is 23 America's Cup Avenue if you are looking to order an Uber. So you would come in over here, and if you turn to your left, you'll find the Welcome Center. There is a cafe here. Lovely seating here. And it's a grab-and-go cafe. I see coffee, ice cream, chobani, there's salads, there's sandwiches, there's water, and a little snacks. And this is to the left of the entrance, so you have restrooms over there. And then this is where you would pick up your tickets. If you need your tickets, you would pick them up here. Newport, throughout the years, they start their history with 1500s and the Native Americans, all the way through to the 1960s. So you see all of the more prominent houses: Kingscote, Chateau Sumir, Chepstow, Essex Bell, Marble House, the Breakers, the Elms, Rosecliff, and then the Historic Society was founded back in 1945. So, thank you. And straight ahead is the Breakers. So now the way that this works is it's a self-guided tour for the main tour. And we're gonna go across. It's a self-guided tour, so you will need to download the Newport Historic Society app before you come. Get all of your gear together so that when you go inside, they'll give you instructions, I'm sure, but you'll put on your headsets, open up your app, and begin your tour. There are 2 tours, the regular tour and also the family tour. So I'm gonna take the family tour with the little guy. Mom and Paul will take the regular tour. And can we just start by talking about, look at the details on this lamp. Look at this. Absolutely amazing. All right, let's go inside. Can you imagine driving up to this? There is some accessibility, and I do not believe that I was about to say that. They do not allow strollers inside of the house. Good morning.
Take photos, there's no flash.
Okay.
Self-guided tour, we'll go straight through those curtains and to the left to get started.
Okay, while we are waiting, there is a scavenger hunt for kids. So here's a look at what is on the scavenger hunt. So I'm going to help the little guy with this. Historical Society, welcome to the Breakers. It gives you an introduction. So if you did not download the tour, in advance, you could probably just read these paragraphs and walk yourself through the house. All right, here's something that we learned is that the Kennedys, John F. Kennedy, actually had dinner at the base of the stairs here. This house, of course, was built for the Vanderbilts, and when it was not in use, the Vanderbilt children rode their bicycles in this space. So this is Cornelius Vanderbilt. He is the patriarch of this family. Above, you see the 3 acorns, and those are the symbol of the Vanderbilt family. Okay, so this is the Vanderbilt breakfast room. It's green and gold. We normally should be able to go in here or see in here, but for some reason there are stanchions holding us back. So this is the grand dining room. From the family perspective, you had to be at least 16 years old to have dinner in this room. Otherwise, you were not allowed. And the tour talks about all of the artwork in here, the horses on the ceiling, the cherubs, the fruit, the burly men, the chandelier, and of course this fireplace, which we'll step back and get another view of. There's supposed to be dragons over the fireplace. Let's just have another look. Okay, so this fountain was put in so that you could feel like you were actually sitting in front of water. Guests were allowed to sit here after dinner, what have you, and just relax. And because there was no air conditioning, this fountain was supposed to make you feel as though it was cooler. So this is indoor air conditioning for its day. The next space is the billiard room. First rule is that there were no women allowed in this space. The thing that they told us about the marble is it's one slab sliced in half and opened up like a book. So you get this continuous piece of marble. They talked about the floors and the mosaic here. You'll see the acorn in the floor, the Vanderbilt symbol, all mosaic tile. The dolphin shows up again here, and of course you see it on the ceiling. And here is the billiards table. Amazing. Okay, so what we've learned this time is that the ceilings here are 50 feet high, and the Breakers, by no accident, is the largest summer cottage here in Newport by design. So again, we are on the other side of the Great Hall. There are those amazing stairs with, I see a portrait over there. We haven't heard about the portrait. I believe that's Alva Vanderbilt. We'll hear a little bit more about her. And here's a look at the fireplace on the other side. Okay, so we are on the other side of the fireplace. Want to call your attention to the cherubs here. Over here, you'll see a train, because that's how the Vanderbilts made their money, and a sledgehammer. That's how they wanted to remind you they were railroad people. And again, that is to the left of the fireplace in the Great Hall. We are now continuing on this way. Okay, so here's the thing to know about this space. You see the silver panels in the corner here. It turns out they're not really silver because they haven't dulled, and when they didn't dull, they did the research to find out that this is really platinum. And we are standing in the middle of the morning room. This space was for ladies only, no men allowed, because they, after all, had the billiards room. So this is where the ladies would gather. Lovely, lovely. And of course, it has a beautiful fireplace. Look at the lion breathing. Just absolutely beautiful, the detail. Okay, so now we are in the music room. And all of the Vanderbilt children took music lessons year-round when they were here, even in the summer. And when this was not the music room, it was the Vanderbilt House ballroom. Isn't it grand? And here, let's talk about the gold coloring on the walls that you see throughout. This is the gold leaf. This is where the Gilded Age term comes from, and it was not a compliment because it's not real gold, it's wood covered in gold, and it was meant to be an insult. Thank you, Samuel Clemens. The other thing that they wanted to point out here, and I'll look over here, is you'll see all of the furniture in here. The feet of the chairs, the tables, everything are on lion's feet. That is the intention. It's what they did at that time. So this is the beautiful, beautiful ballroom. And I do see a Gilded Age stanchion over there. Let's go see what that's about. All right, so as I said, the Gilded Age, this is actually a setting for the Russell's Ballroom in New York. It was actually filmed here. So in case you don't know, they film here, they film in Troy, New York, they film a little bit in the city, but they go to places that still have the character of this time in history. So, beautiful. Okay, we have just entered the library. So this is where the entire family would come to relax. You'll see over here another portrait of Cornelius. You'll see this is where they played cards. And the library proper is straight ahead. Let's go in and have another look. And of course, you either played games in here or you grabbed yourself a book and you sat down to actually read. Okay, we are now headed upstairs to the second floor. There is supposed to be an elevator, but we didn't see it as we were walking by. We would probably just ask for help. But this is a first and second floor tour, so just keep that in mind. Take your time on the stairs. They are not steep at all. And we're actually touching the banister. We're allowed to touch something. It's the banister. Here we go. And while we're at the top here, I'm going to get a view of the Great Hall from up here. Okay, we have entered the private space now. We are in the bedroom of the daughter, the youngest daughter, Gladys Vanderbilt. This is her bedroom. Nice sized bedroom. We're told that she was meant to keep it tidy and clean herself, even though they did have help. It was to really look after the house and tend to overall the family, but not to tidy your room. You had to tidy your room yourself. There are secret doors carved in. There's one on the left, and there's also one on the right. We are going through the door on the left. And here's the view from our bathroom. You get to see the front of the house. So we have entered the bedroom of Mr. Vanderbilt. His room was connected to Gladys's, the youngest daughter. And this is what his space looked like. Really not as fancy as the rooms downstairs, which of course were the more public spaces. But still, he has a desk in here. He has a fireplace. There are pictures on the wall of him and his family. Of course, I don't know if he ever needed this. Was it ever cold when they were here? And then here's his writing desk for if he was lounging, and then his setup of his desk there. They had to change clothes multiple times a day. And what we're going to do next is head into the dressing room of Mr. Vanderbilt. But they all would have had dressing rooms. We were told to stop and look at the portrait here of the Vanderbilt boys. Small bed. And here is his dressing room. Where his suits and clothing would have been hung in the closet there, and he would have gotten dressed here with his manservant. Okay, so this is the bathroom for both Mr. and Mrs. Vanderbilt. The tub over there is one solid piece of marble, which makes it very cold. And they had to warm it up multiple times. They had to fill it with hot water multiple times before it became warm enough to actually use. And then looking at the spouts on the tub, the outer faucets here are for the regular hot and cold, but the two inner knobs are for salt water. And one solid piece of marble. Can you imagine? And this is Mrs. Vanderbilt's room. So together with this room and the husband's room, this would have been one large apartment, meant not just for sleeping, but also for working. Mrs. Vanderbilt would have had her office here. You see her desk in the back, and she would have ran the household from here. Over here at her nightstand table, you'll see multiple buzzers. She could have called for any of the people on staff to help her, the butler, the maids, the footman, etc., the stable, which they say was 2 blocks away. She could have called from any of those people to come help her. While we're here, we saw Mr. Vanderbilt's closet. This is Mrs. Vanderbilt's closet. See those long hangers? Can you imagine the dresses that used to hang on those wooden hangers? I can only imagine. Love it. So this is the servants' hallway, intentionally narrow, and it was meant to be so that you could not be seen by the family. You are not allowed in the public areas unless you were serving. This is where you would come and go to get in between the bedrooms. So this is Mrs. Vanderbilt's dressing room. Strange. I thought it was Gertrude's bedroom. Okay, this is Gertrude's bathroom. Again, that single piece of marble. So this is Gertrude Vanderbilt's bedroom. She was quite the independent woman for her time. In fact, she went on to become an artist who, I did not know this until taking this tour, she founded the Whitney Museum in New York. Imagine that. A lot of the art that you see in this room, she actually created herself, though that is a portrait of her when she was a child over her bed. And these are her some portraits. Oh, there, that's her in the center. I imagine that's her as an older woman. Beautiful. I love the pink in here. Girly girl here. Love the pink. This area is the porch or the loggia, and this is the view that they paid for and how the house got its name, the breakers, because of the waves breaking against the shoreline there. The tour tells us about the things that the children had to do. They had very busy days. They were not days of leisure. They had to get up at 8, have breakfast, get ready to go down to the beach. They came back for noon, for lunch. They took another bath. They did whatever lessons they had to do. They took a nap. They changed. They went down to play tennis. They came back. They went sailing. Very, very busy lives of leisure. So this room is one of the guest bedrooms. There, I believe, are about 10 to 15 rooms that look just like this in the house. We are on the 2nd floor. However, the Vanderbilt boys would have had rooms up on the 3rd floor, which the tour doesn't take you up there at this time. And above that, on the 4th floor, you would have found the servants' quarters, which were tight, hot, without real windows. They had portholes for windows, very uncomfortable up there. But if you were a guest at the Vanderbilt house, you would have stayed in a room that looked somewhat like this, not too shabby. So the tour has taken us to the top of the grand staircase, and I have to tell you, I love a grand staircase. You have the Vanderbilts on either side, the Vanderbilt men, and then you have Alice Vanderbilt. I believe I said Alva downstairs because I think her house is Marble House. That's a whole other story. This is Alice's house. And the narrator tells us that these stairs were built just a little bit shorter than normal so that women in their fabulous gowns did not trip and fall, and kids would sit on serving trays and just scoosh themselves down these stairs. So this is the back staircase. This is the servants' staircase, and so the Vanderbilt family would never have used these rather normal and functional stairs. Instead, they would have used the stairs that we've seen so far. We are going to go down these stairs and see where they take us. So this takes us to the kitchen. So we are walking straight ahead. There's going down 2 levels. And these stairs are easier to navigate, I have to tell you, than the family stairs. So this space was just for making cakes and pastries and pies and what have you, just for baking. And then this is the humongous kitchen. This kitchen is bigger than some people's houses. But you can see they still have some of the potware and cookery that would have been used. You have your pantry here for putting things down. Look at those pots, and we're going to get a closer look at the stove. Here is the kitchen sink. And there's the cooking surface over there. They had a space for bread. There's another sink over there. Can you imagine how hot this room must have been when they were cooking? So of course the kitchen was placed in a separate wing so that if there was a fire, the whole house would not have been destroyed. But this is the family kitchen, and did you peep the dumbwaiter over here? So this is how they would have moved food through the house to other areas of the house. And is this the butler's pantry? Oh no, this says it's the flower pantry. Yet another sink. As we keep moving through the last room on the tour, this is the butler's pantry. You can see all of the dishes and plates up there. So every good attraction ends up in a gift shop. And so this is the Newport mansion, the Breakers Mansion gift shop. This particular area has a bunch of books in it. There are a number about the family history, murder mysteries set here at the different mansions, so that's interesting. There are cookbooks, I see journals, wine books, etc. And to the right of the house, you have the South Terrace, Ocean Terrace, the lawn, and the Welcome Center is behind us. We're gonna go over here and see if we can get onto that back lawn and get a look at the breakers, the waves breaking at the breakers. Okay, here's the other thing to know is that this is not uncomfortable, but it's gravel, and I wore sandals, as you can see. So you might want to wear closed-toe shoes for this tour, particularly if you're going to walk around the house and get a better look at the grounds. You just want to keep that in mind. And this is the side of the house. And those windows up top there, those are the servants' windows. You notice how they're smaller than all of the other windows? This is where they were saying how it's so uncomfortable up there, particularly in the summer. The windows are not as large as the other windows in the house, so I can just imagine how it was baking up there. And so here is the back of the house. You'll recall that we caught some footage and some views from the second-story loggia there, and then here is the bottom half of that, similar setup. And you can see the window panes, how the sea air takes its toll on the painted veneers here. But look at this view. But at the time that we're filming this, there is this exhibit here called The Great Elephant Migration. Taking the herd's majesty with arms open wide, but please do not climb on them. So do not climb on the elephants, but you can go have a closer look at them. And this is the view. So I can imagine, can you imagine the lawn games that would have been played here? It looks like, just take another look at this house. Amazing. This space just for the summer months. So part of the tour did tell us that the reason why these houses fell out of favor is at the time that people were building these mansions, in case you didn't know, there was no income tax. So imagine every penny you earn, you get to keep. So that was the status, and because you were able to keep all of the money you earned, the more money you earned, the more you were able to do things like this because there were no taxes. So the other thing is that once taxes came into favor, the times just changed and it became too expensive to upkeep these properties. Some of the families were actually involved, I believe the Vanderbilt family being one of them, in preserving these mansions. And this one in particular opened up the house so that more people would get to see the house and that it wouldn't be torn down. And this gate over here to the right, that is the cliff walk. So if you wanted to walk along the water there, you can go up and down the cliff walk. I understand it's flat and just fine in some places, uneven and tricky in others. So you want to keep that in mind if you're going to do the cliff walk. There is no access to the cliff walk from here. You can certainly walk past the house and have a look, but of course, because there is a paid admission, you cannot get in this way. You have to go around front and pay the admission. So just in case you're wondering, we are here at the Breakers. Rosecliff and Marble House are around the corner and down the block, but here are the other houses that you can have a look at that the Newport Mansions Preservation Society of Newport County, say that fast twice, has control over. So we actually showed up around 10 o'clock, just about when the house opened. My advice to you is to do the same. Get your tickets in advance. You can get them online if you're doing it on your own. If you're taking a tour through your cruise ship, take the early tour, but get here early because even the parking lot has filled up, and when we first arrived, the parking lot was nearly empty. Okay, so our Uber just dropped us off. We're at the edge of Thames in America's Cup, right across from the Red Parrot, and we're standing right in front of the post office. You'll see this is where Thames and I believe America's Cup all come together over here. To the right there is Franklin Street. We're gonna try not to do any uphills. They're across from Banner's Wharf. And there are a lot of boutiques here, boutiques, that are very niche and particular to this area. Here's Shore Soap. So we could actually take soap back home. I'm gonna go in here and give it a smell. Let's see.
Keep track of these things.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. It smells like heaven in here. So we just left Shore Soap Company. That smelled heavenly. And we are walking along. In case you need a bank, there is a Santander here. Okay, we are going to cross over so that we can go to Banisters Wharf proper. That puts us even closer to the tenders. So the cars stop for you here, which that's great. That's the rule. They have to stop for you in the crosswalk. So that's good. And my first stop is going to be right here at the Newport Mansion Gifts. I am specifically looking for a Newport Mansions t-shirt is really what I'm looking for. But they have items that are very similar to what we saw at the Breakers. The Gilded Age cookbook. And I did not know, again, that there were murder mysteries for I'm going to have to try one of these books by Alyssa Maxwell. Look at the lobster cookware here. Oh my gosh. All right. Continuing on Banner's Wharf. Here is another store. It's called North Sales. Smells like seafood. My mom was saying it smells. That's why. Smells like seafood. So Bowens Wharf. It is. This is so cool. Southern Kitchen and Whiskey Bar. Nice designer bag shop. I am holding off on getting anything to eat. We'll get something to eat when we're back on the ship. And so tonight, stay tuned. We're going to do a separate video. We are eating at the steakhouse aboard the cruise ship. So we'll put that video up for you so that you can see what the steakhouse experience is like. So that's why we're not having a full-on meal here. Okay, so continuing on. So Bowens Wharf is filled with shops and restaurants. We can't vouch for any of them just because we haven't tried them, but if I had some time I would definitely try some of them. So Bowens Wharf and Banisters Wharf, they're really right next to each other, and I've seen signs for both. I mean, you are not starved for restaurants here, with a lot of great outdoor seating, which is really the perk. It just keeps going. Looks like you can get sailing excursions here. There's the lobster bar. There's live music back here. Okay, let me tell you why I did not choose to do a full land excursion to Newport. When I was looking at the prices of hotels, and it needed to be a hotel because a bed and breakfast would require 2 rooms, and I just didn't feel that we were getting price versus the quality of what I was seeing online with the reviews, what have you, and the places that were nice and the quality that I wanted. It was like literally the price of a cruise fare to come for 3-4 nights, and I couldn't do it. And for 7 nights, I'm getting what I would have paid for 3-4 nights. So that's why we did not do the land version of this. And by the way, look at the music hall across the street, 1894. Makes you wonder what happened there during the Gilded Age. Came out of Bowens Wharf and we made a left. So you see the Newport Hotel there. We're headed down towards the general direction of the Marriott. But before we get to the Marriott, we'll get to the tender port. Down the road is the aquarium and the Marriott straight ahead. And then there's more shopping over here. The area across the street is called the Brick Marketplace, the shops at the Brick Marketplace. So you could have continued along the road that we were on and then come over to these shops. And we are, as we turn to our left, right here at the tender port. It's about 1 o'clock. We're getting on an early-ish tender because we don't want to wait until later. And we want to get something to eat before that steak dinner. So if you are getting off the tenders here, across the road again is the Long Wharf Mall. Over here is some restrooms, so coming or going, you'll find the restrooms if you need them. So as we say goodbye to Newport there, some of our favorite moments of the day were, of course, the mansions. Loved the mansion. Wish we would have been able to do more of them, but we did the main mansion. That was amazing. Just doing a little walking around and shopping, taking in the area, picking up a little purchase from the soap shop there. That was amazing. Absolutely love Newport, Rhode Island. Be sure to check out our Enchanted Princess playlist. We'll link it for you below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you know when the next adventure begins. And no matter where your next adventures take you, we hope that you enjoy the journey. Bye now.